And before the next episode of the Yalabat podcast, we're here to talk to you about your holiday season plans. Because if you're still looking for something for Christmas, which is something I think a lot of people will be getting to the next couple of weeks, listen up, because we've got something for you called Folklory. Folklory is our service where we interview your loved ones to capture their stories and memories as personal podcasts. And what is this special offer that we're extending to people as well?
Just for this Christmas, any Folklories that are ordered will be delivered not just as a link or an audio file, but in this sweet-ass Christmas cassette. So it's not actually a cassette. It's a Bluetooth speaker in the style of an old school cassette. You know, like one of those mixtapes that we all used to make. So this will come with your Folklories preloaded, which means you can just receive it in the mail, click play, and it'll play it right from here. Which we are super excited about. We're doing a limited run just for this Christmas because, you know, we've heard that as much as people love Folklories, they don't have something to give to people. So, you know, in the spirit of Christmas, you need presents, you need to wrap something up. You can wrap this up, you know, and you can give it to someone as an actual gift that we're sure is going to blow their minds.
And it's something they can open in front of everyone and even listen to on the spot if they wanted to, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because for Christmas, you know, everyone's opening presents. You want to give something, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing it just for this Christmas. We're doing a limited run just to see how people take to it, whether giving something they touch and feel is actually something they want. And thankfully, we're almost sold out. We have a few more left. So we're extending the deadline by 2 more days. So if you order between now and 16 November, Thursday, we'll deliver this to you by Christmas guaranteed. Okay? It comes free, so no extra top-up. And all you gotta do is just make your order at the link in the show notes, which also has more pictures, more FAQs, and yeah, remember to get your order now while stock lasts. Cool. And now on to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This week's a shorter week. And why, Terrence?
Post Deepavali.
Post-Deepavali.
It's a 4-day work week, right?
Yeah, 4-day work week.
Yeah, I mean yourself also. You're going away soon.
Yeah,
for something big.
The land of BTS.
Oh, nice. Yes, to Korea.
Tonight, man.
Yeah. Tonight. So we'll see whether we can get another episode out. But I mean, but this one is to tide people over, at least until we made those arrangements.
At least we got one this week. I know I said thrice weekly, but I mean thrice weekly with an asterisk, if one of us are traveling or
public holidays.
Public holiday. Yeah.
So that's where we're at, Yeah, Deepavali. How's your Deepavali weekend, man?
I mean, it was good. I had my family over on one day, then my wife's family over another day, and we figured, you know what, let's try and cook and do stuff like that. But by the end of the weekend, we were zonked.
Yeah, and
zonked.
So for Chinese people who don't know, I guess Deepavali is kind of, I mean, it's basically more like Chinese New Year, right? Where it's basically about family and not so much any religious, less so religious. What do you call it?
Actually got religious stuff.
Oh, is it?
So my mom would do like prayers and all.
Okay.
It's just that I'm not the most religious.
Okay.
So I would do simple stuff at home with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, it is more festive. It's like vegetarian on the day.
Yeah.
You know? Terrence, your favorite? Yeah, vegetarian.
Yeah.
And so it's a mix. Like you can have people you care about, like friends, family, and all. I know this year for my friends, none of them were invited because it was family.
Okay.
I know, like even you were surprised, right?
No, I wasn't.
Don't lie, Terrence.
I was
Don't
like, okay. Drawing the lines really. Drawing lines. Okay.
In case any of my friends are listening and wondering, hey, why Harish never? This year was it was the first Diwali where both my family and my wife's family came. So
okay.
Chill the fuck out.
Nothing to do with our first topic about you being angry about
No.
Just as well that we're talking about that.
No. Yeah, so I mean, it was a good weekend, good weekend. Yeah.
So basically, your first time hosting as married couple,
yeah, correct.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
First time hosting as a married couple.
Okay.
Yeah, then fun. tried to make our place look nice.
Yeah.
Kudos to my wife, but it was one of those things where I'm like, do we need another candle? You know, yeah, but then the candles also need to be thought of, and like
candles are the key, man. Candles are the key.
do elevate stuff, lah.
I mean, thankfully, in spite of your non-invitation, I still got to attend a Deepavali celebration.
Okay. And, you found a stand-in. You found a stand-in to get
candles.
Your
No, not a stand-in. I would say as good, if not surpassed.
Nah.
Yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, there were a lot of flowers, a lot of candles, a lot of things to give up the whole festive mood, lah. Basically, sparklers and all these things as well.
Yeah, but the candles, like, it also is not just a Diwali thing, like candles in general, quite festive, lah.
Yeah. They create an atmosphere, lah. Yeah.
But Terence, do you realize that when we first moved in, you were the first friend of mine to come to our Diwali gathering last time?
I see.
First in the day,
2 years ago, yeah.
How far you have fallen down the pecking order?
The pecking order, yeah. Didn't know until like the day before that there will be no more Deepavali celebrations. No Deepavali for you.
No Deepavali for you today.
Yeah.
But it was a good weekend, and then now going to be leaving tonight.
Yeah. Big plans for not the non-Deepavali trip.
Yes, Terence, it's a non-Diwali trip.
Yeah,
it's just a trip.
It's just a trip. But
but
our first topic does have a lot to do with celebrating Diwali since it just passed. We thought it's a good time to talk about it. But before all that, what is the one thing that we always have to tell people?
That if you've listened to this podcast, you're listening to it for the first time, if you enjoy it, if you find any value, if it makes you think, if it makes you angry, if it makes you sad, but for good reason, it would be great if you could refer it to at least one other person. And follow us on all our social media platforms, on Spotify, on Apple, so you are aware anytime there's a new episode. And if you could leave a rating, that would be great.
Yeah. And if you want to work with us, contact@ministryofffunny.com is the email to reach us at. We're always happy to talk to people.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's jump right into the first topic after Deepavali.
Yeah.
Which is actually somewhat related to it, right?
Yeah.
So what is this topic?
It is the whole kerfuffle last week when there was a certain Deepavali banner in Mountbatten that had some backlash. And even though it reached its peak of mainstream consciousness last week, figured that, it's after Deepavali weekend. It had to do with things that supposedly happened during Diwali weekend. And I just thought we will unpack it. So basically last week, what happened was a user posted on Facebook November 8th. Her name is Susila Shanmugam. I don't believe any relations to the minister. But it was a picture of two banners, one above the other, somewhere in Mountbatten. The top one featured Mr. Lim Biao Chuan, who is the advisor to the Mountbatten grassroots organizations. He's also the person representing Mountbatten SMC. And it says, wishes all Mountbatten residents happy Deepavali. And right below the banner, so this is one of those big ass banners that you see beside on the streets. Right below that, there was another banner wishing our residents happy Deepavali. Let's keep our celebrations litter free. Then the subheader, please be sure to bin your litter, bracket, use sparklers, packaging, plastics, etc. and leave our public spaces clean.
Yeah.
So that picture was apparently the NEA logo was there. And it felt like an official thing, and after that person posted it on 8th November, it was shared like about 500 plus times and a bunch of newspaper articles covered it.
Yeah.
So now is the weekend after. I mean, given that it happened already, in the end, Mr. Liam Biao Chuan did ask that banner to be taken down, and also said that it was the contractor who did not sync up the location and that those two banners are not related.
Yeah.
And that was put up by the Residents Network, which is overseen by People's Association. Nothing to do with the Marine Parade Town Council. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, so we're like, why not dig up the past and talk about it now?
Not just the past, but the fact is, since it's post Deepavali, we can also ask ourselves, do you see a lot of litter?
Yeah, man. Today coming, I had to waddle through just litter, plastic packaging at the bottom of my block. Took me 2 hours to get to the office.
So that's obviously a joke, right? That's obviously a joke.
Yeah, it is.
So, but I guess rather than go to the extreme of like
Mockery.
mocking it, right? I think it's worth thinking about. Okay, was there really a lot more litter than what you normally see?
I mean, not to the extent that it struck me.
Okay.
Also, granted, yesterday and the day before, I didn't leave my house much.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm in the best person to speak. But when I did leave, it didn't strike me as anything over the top.
Yeah.
You-
Same for me. I didn't. I did go out, but not to say very crowded places where I knew that there'll be celebrations and all that going on and all, right? Public celebrations. I did partake in some, sparklers and revelry that way. But even that, the whole group I was with, there was a very concerted effort to, pick up after ourselves. Make sure that the sparklers, after being used, were deposited in a little can and things like that, right? So yeah, ultimately, I guess a lot of it boiled down to the individual also, right? Like how conscientious you are taking care of the place after. But yeah, I didn't see any big messes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is, right, like, it's one of those things that I think nobody disagrees with the message.
Yeah.
Right? We all want a litter-free Singapore. We all always talk so highly of, like the Japanese football fans who clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
So it's not a thing about, like, why are we should aspire towards that. It's just the way this was phrased. Even the reaction by Lim Biao Chuan, the fact that NEA was involved, it felt like, why, yeah? This is just to me, is a communications fuck up.
So the biggest thing for you is how it was phrased.
And also the fact that there is a dedicated banner. So, like, it's almost, when you think about designing a banner, right?
Yeah.
You have the header, bigger text.
Yes.
Then you have the secondary line, smaller text. And maybe the T and C's, the smallest text.
Yeah.
This one, the lines about let's keep our celebrations litter-free, get two of the three lines. The first line is wishing our residents happy Deepavali, all in the same font size.
Yeah. So you're saying that it seems like the priority is not just about wishing residents happy Deepavali. It's more the reminder to keep celebrations litter-free.
Yeah. It's like, whenever you say something fucked up to me and you say something like generic first.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that was a nice one-stroke thing, Harish.
The backhanded.
The backhanded
thing. Backhanded compliment.
Correct. This was a backhanded banner.
But okay, you mentioned font size, but would it mean that if, let's say, the font size for the Happy Deepavali part was bigger, and then let's keep our celebrations litter-free smaller, like a smaller portion, or maybe even embedded within the pink section of the poster, which I think is maybe about 20% of the height of the poster, right?
Yeah.
A very small section. That would have been okay.
It would still have been a backhanded slap.
So cannot
but a less hard slap or softer slap.
So that would have been okay.
No,
it's still not okay.
Okay, so the thing is, I think first of all is the timing, yes, But to me, and I don't want to be one of those who, like, sometimes when I see people say, oh, how can you put Christmas celebrations up before Deepavali celebrations? That one, I think, is not that clear cut to me. That is a wrong thing.
Okay.
But in this case, it just feels like for other festivals, especially one in particular where there's a lot of burning.
Yeah.
The Hungry Ghost Festival, where even this year, the smoke, the burning, it was everywhere. I don't recall seeing signs that are that big.
Yep.
Where it's like, litter is almost like in as much context or like given the same priority as the well wishes. So for this to come out now, it's just one of those things for me. Like, there could have been a better way to do this. No one disagrees with the message, but the way he did it, I was like,
yeah.
No,
I definitely think you cannot have the Happy Deepavali and the Let's Keep Our Celebrations Litter-Free in the same poster, the same banner.
Oh, even not in the same banner?
Yeah, this cannot be on the same banner. Maybe I take a bit more extreme view of that, right? Where it just sounds very insincere, Then when the one thing that you want to say in the banner is please don't litter.
Yeah.
But you start by saying, Happy Deepavali, It's that kind of thing that's what you do. Maybe if you are trying to convince someone to do something in person, right? But when you're talking about printing a banner and you're going to put in the money and the time to design and print the banner already, right? I would say just keep the banner to, like, just be upfront about what you're asking people to do, right? Don't beat around the bush so much. And then whatever, everything else, Happy Deepavali, all that can be a separate banner, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they were on the same banner, I think that was the problem. Like, if this was just Lim Biao Chuan's banner where he's saying Happy Deepavali, and then another banner that just says generically, let's keep our celebrations litter free, I think that would be okay. I don't think it would be that as bad.
Not as bad.
Not as bad. But because it's on the same banner, it tells you that there was thought that went into, okay, specifically for this holiday or this public holiday, we need to remind people not to litter.
Yeah. I think, that's exactly the crux of it. And it, like, when you read the details, Lim Biao Chuan said that, it is based on feedback from previous years. That there's always been a lot of littering and all that. And it was something put up by the Residents Network and supported by the National Environment Agency.
Yeah.
So I guess that is the biggest thing. Like, it's supported by NEA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And NEA, I know it is their priority. He has to keep Singapore clean, the environment clean. But to endorse something like this, it just amplifies whatever fuck up there already was.
But why does their endorsement of keeping celebrations litter-free, why would that amplify the insensitivity or anything? I mean, it is insensitive by itself already. Right?
So the banner, like what you said, I totally agree with you. I mean, like, even to have it on the same banner, it's not the best thing. It's like when you talk to someone, if you want to say something not nice to them, whatever you say right before that feels like, okay, you're just saying this. You know? So the fact that they endorse it, because I can imagine if it's a small group of people, they print this banner, okay, it's an isolated thing.
Yeah.
But for NEA to endorse it, when I don't think I've seen explicit things about other festivals, especially like the Hungry Ghost Festival, the amount of burning that is done, you cannot deny it, right? But that and in the past also for other festivals, I know like Thaipusam, noise pollution, and it just feels like, hey, like, why, basically, why can't this be something that is put up at like a more, like, let's say New Year's? I'm sure these kind of things are planned in advance. It is a good message to come out. New Year's is agnostic almost.
Yeah.
And then you leave that and have a recurring thing for all festivals.
Yeah. That's what I think. Like, if you create that one banner, then it can be used for any festival.
Exactly.
Then you just replace the Happy Deepavali, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, whatever. That one gets replaced. The other one can stay evergreen. Right?
Exactly.
It saves money also.
Yeah, that's right.
But to counter that point, there are posters or messages that have been put out by authorities. I think the example is in even the Straits Times article that we're looking at. We're telling people to be mindful when burning Joss paper. And there are graphics, probably commission an artist to draw graphics of how you should do it responsibly. So there are these reminders out there about Hungry Ghost Festival and all. But again, you look at that poster that they put here, it doesn't say, I guess you don't say Happy Hungry Ghost Festival, right? Nobody says that. But they don't necessarily even mention specifically that it's about the Hungry Ghost Festival. It's really about just being mindful when burning Joss paper. Yeah. Which stretches across different, not necessarily different religions, but even different beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Taoism and other types of beliefs as well.
Yeah. So,
I think really keep it separate. I think that's the message. Yeah.
It's like if you want to use sparklers and all that.
Yeah.
Just be mindful when burning sparklers. Of course, if that comes out right before Deepavali, it's also like, I mean, you just have it for all people. Use sparklers all year round,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and like it's just like the fact. I mean, even when you read it, like, he also was throwing the contractor under the bus. Like, never checked the location. That's why it shouldn't be posted together. But then it feels like you're missing the point. Like, there was no mention that, okay, this could have been done better. It could have been communicated better. And even the Residents Network, they actually sent a circular to the residents of Mountbatten, where the subject was, let us have a litter-free Deepavali celebration with litter-free Deepavali underline. And it literally said, as the festive season approaches, you might be planning to celebrate this joyous occasion at a beautiful green spaces, open fields near your home.
Yeah.
And they highlight, do not leave any litter behind. Then they show pictures from festivities in 2022. And the littering is an offense. And the NEA logo is there also. So the notice, I think, was delivered to someone's condo in Mountbatten SMC.
I see.
So then it feels like, yo, man, that's a bit much.
So do you feel offended by the like things like this? Do you personally feel offended?
What does offended even mean, Terrence?
Like outrage, like it has to be changed.
Okay, so I mean, in some way, I think it's good they took down the banner.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm outraged to the point that I couldn't sleep. I would say I'm disappointed, Terrence.
Disappointed.
I'm disappointed because it feels like this day and age, this you can almost foresee, It's almost if you show it to a focus group of 10 people,
Yeah.
be like, guys, what do you think if we put this up in public? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
I would imagine most people will be like, okay, that, whether justified or not, is going to cause some backlash. So that's why the fact that they put it out, it feels weird.
Yeah.
But like, for you, are you enraged and offended on my behalf or not, Terrence?
I don't think. I mean, definitely there is some. Well, how do I put this without sounding like I don't care about it, I do think the messaging is wrong, right? Whoever it is celebrating whatever festivity, I think if you have any reminders or all that, I think those can come separately in a separate circular and all. But also part of me is like, okay, like does it also stem from basically like people being upset about, let's say, like what we mentioned earlier, how Deepavali is treated vis-a-vis like Christmas coming up and all that, right? And that also bleeds into this feeling, right? Of like, hey, how come this particular festivity is singled out like that, And it might point to a larger build-up of tension, right, between different races, different ethnicities, about how each of these festivities are celebrated, So I maybe am I disappointed? Maybe a little bit, but not in the sense of like that. That someone made this mistake, because I think inevitably there'll always be somebody who make this kind of this gaffe, but it kind of makes me a bit afraid also, that there are people who are getting very, very heated about some of these things, and like basically that, like I think the person who posted it themselves straight up put, right, I would love to see them do the same for Hungry Ghost Festival or Chinese New Year. Almost like so that piece of feedback is not so much like, hey, it is not very nice to us. It's more like, hey, why don't you all do it to this other group of people also? That kind of tone, right? So it's very us versus them kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
So it's even that side of things makes me a little bit uncomfortable also.
Also, you're saying that it's also something that when people use it and paint it that way, us against them, is dangerous.
Yeah. That means, it's a insensitive thing to put up, right? Regardless of which festival it is, right? But then the posters are saying, the person who posted it after that saying, I hope they do this for Chinese New Year at Hungry Ghost Festival specifically. That I think been a bit sad for me to see. Yeah.
That was what you were disappointed by.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so the thing is, first of all, it dawns upon me that anybody who wants to start a banner company, printing these banners, it feels like there have been so many banner guffaws in the past year.
Yeah.
Right, there was that Indian family that was put on these Tanjong Pagar banners. Like, I think it was hinting at, integration of foreigners, but there's a local Indian family.
Yeah.
They also hit the news. Then there was that banner or standee that used someone's Instagram picture.
Someone's wedding
photos.
Yeah.
So whoever are the companies in this space, right, it feels like it's fucking old school.
Yeah.
So if you're a young person have an eye for aesthetics, just start a company like this. You'll get all the business.
Printing banners.
Yeah, printing banners. Don't make these kind of fuck ups. Be more in tune with like social norms and all.
Yeah.
But then, like to your point about the us versus them thing, yeah, it's not ideal, but it just feels like it's just stupid mistakes that keep happening. How else to be very diplomatic about it?
I think maybe my point is that calling out and explaining very clearly why it's insensitive, right? But maybe not so much like saying that, okay, how about your Chinese people? Because I think that adds additional fuel to a fire, and you end up like pushing people. I mean, some people, like I guess some Chinese people might read it and react. I won't speak for them, but I'm sure there are people who read it and react like, why so sensitive about these things, right? Like Chinese people also, Joss paper also burn and everything, right? And ultimately a reminder that all Singaporeans celebrate different festivals. We all have different beliefs, and being tolerant is part of that, right? As opposed to how come Chinese people don't get this kind of thing?
So then how would you phrase it? Let's say you could edit that Facebook post. Like, what would be the gist of it? Like,
some kind of reminder that all Singaporeans celebrate this festival, and maybe it's not a good idea to single out this particular festival by highlighting it like that,
You mean all Singaporeans celebrate their own festivals?
We celebrate a whole different bunch of festivals, but we're all happy together as Singaporeans celebrating it. I was very happy when I was playing with sparklers on Sunday, right? Something like that, generally. Being a bit more positive, try to be more, remind people that it's about, being tolerant as well of each other. And not so much like, you don't, how come you don't get that treatment?
So it's more like, it's a long weekend. People are going to be celebrating.
Yeah.
The litter might come from multiple sources.
Yeah.
Why you have to single out the people who celebrate?
The festival,
And then I was like, that's privilege. No.
I'm ready for the brickbats. People there will be people on Reddit and everything. You included also who secretly set up accounts.
All these burner accounts. Terrence, shut the fuck up, Terrence.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you. Like, I think that's the tricky part these days, right? Everything is divisive. And it gets people riled up. Sometimes, I wouldn't say unnecessarily, but sometimes a bit too extremely. And I think it is really on everybody's part, if you want to get a point across, to not make it unnecessarily incendiary.
Yeah.
So I agree, Terrence. I agree that the moment there is a us versus them thing, then, I mean, when I argue with people also, like, even if we were to argue, the moment you put up a wall and you get defensive, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you're only talking about from your own interests and everything.
So, this whole us versus them thing. And, I mean, the posting thing is one thing, but I also feel like, I'm just curious, like, the process for even NEA or something approving these banners. I think any business or government body or government arm that has to deal with communications to the public, these things keep happening, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand their process.
I think hopefully there is even a process that they're doing to, to really approve these things also, like, going out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's so easy maybe they thought like nobody would care, nobody would bat an eyelid, but someone just needs to snap a photo and put it on, Instagram, and it just goes apeshit crazy,
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe there was that first message, happy Deepavali, wishing all residents happy Deepavali. Then someone just emailed, hey, guys, what about the message about the LitterFree thing? They're like, oh, okay. Then they emailed the vendor, can you insert it in? And they didn't tell them where exactly to insert it.
Yeah.
And then they just inserted.
Maybe. Then or even the other way around. It's meant to be a
separate banner.
Just a separate banner, like, please, while during your celebrations, please be mindful of litter or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but what? People might not know what celebrations it is,
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
This one coming out when? Oh, November. What? They want, Diwali. Okay. It's like even for a wedding invite, right?
Yeah.
If you send a wedding invite to people and say, we will appreciate you not getting drunk.
Yeah.
And, just cleaning up after yourself.
Yeah.
Immediately you also be like, hey.
What does it mean?
What does this mean? What does this mean? And if only you got that and not every other guest.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, there we are, Harish, the apologist for Chinese privilege.
I know, yeah. Now I will get up backlash.
Yeah, together.
You're one of them. Yeah, you're one of them. You're one of them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a unfortunate situation
Yeah.
about that. But at least they took down the banner. Hopefully they learn from it also. Yeah. But yeah, but anytime big groups of people get together, there's also potential, besides creating messes, right? Regardless of what holiday it is. There's also potential for very beautiful things to happen. And that is what some young Singaporeans are figuring out. And what is these events that they're organizing together?
It is this rising trend of social mixers being organized for friendships. So essentially, there is an article that came out that that there are more and more groups and more individuals setting up groups where they meet every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, where the goal is to make new friends. So like December 2022, two friends started offline a social networking group for people between ages 25 and 35, and every 3 weeks they hold an event that brings together 50 people from I guess anywhere and they actually advertise on Instagram. Participants pay for about $75, and there's venue rental and refreshments Then it's not just like a party There's actually some structure. There's like icebreaker games, then there is mingling, and certain rules. Like for this group, you can't talk about work for the first 90 minutes. I don't know how they enforce it, but 13 sessions have been held. So this has been going on for quite a while, and there are other groups who also do something similar. And it just felt this is interesting, because I can imagine, when I don't know whether it's still a thing, but there was at one point SDU.
Yes, the Social Development Unit.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's been rebranded and all, but I remember growing up in my early 20s, SDU, which is a government initiative to foster friendships
Dating,
and dating.
It was Tinder before Tinder, right?
It was the government Tinder, essentially.
Government
which sounds
Tinder.
like a horrible nightmare. But it was very frowned upon.
Reputation wasn't great.
Wasn't great. So now that this is happening more organically and seems like it's getting traction. Was interesting. But what made you want to talk about this?
No, I think interesting point. It's an interesting point to talk about this because I think Singapore and the rest of the world, we've sort of gotten back to pre-COVID kind of interactions and all that, right? So people are back to their dating apps and all that. So the past 3 years or so has been tough for young people in terms of social life, in terms of just being out there and everything. Even this Deepavali celebration I went to, I think explicitly it was like the first, big party that the host and everything was having for many years already, right? And it's just quite telling that maybe part of the last 3 years, the social muscle has atrophied a bit. It's harder and harder for people to make connections, whether it's at work or outside of work and meetups and everything. And so there's opportunities and people setting up things like this. That essentially was doing what the SDU and all these were doing years ago, which we have deemed to be, not cool enough and not sustainable and all that. But now they're coming back in full force, and isn't that like something interesting? And is it like a trend that you think will continue?
I think it's one of those things that I think the branding matters a lot, back when we were also younger, like the online dating thing.
Yeah.
It was seen as you have to meet someone online.
Yeah.
But now it's so common.
Yeah, it's very common.
Dating apps at one point was you just use it to get laid, but there's no way you can meet your life partner. But it's so common.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I think if you try and force it, it's never going to work out. But it also depends a lot on people's perception of it.
Correct.
It's like, last time I can imagine when we were younger and our friends are organizing parties and all. I never organized actually for Club Singapore in Penn got... Oh no, but that one is like a closed group.
Group.
It's not like a ticketed thing. Because you probably had some friends who organize events like that, right?
Yeah.
And it all depends on the people who come.
Yeah.
Right. So this one, I think when you see people like you go, it normalizes it. Yeah, but last time maybe the branding wasn't the best.
Yeah. And I would say that it's also probably a response to all the online tools that you get these days. I think for 3 years, people were being told that Zoom is the new way to hang out with people or meet up with colleagues. Clubhouse is a way to, interact with people. Remember Clubhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that, right? And all our interactions starting to go more and more online rather than offline. Such that people nowadays, even a lot of meetings that used to have to be done in person. I think now it's the norm that people do calls. And remember back in the day, doing calls, all that wasn't as usual or as common, right? So it's really over 3 years we've trained it. But maybe now there's starting to be this backlash of like, okay, enough of this, like trying to bring your life to the digital world, enough the metaverse and all that. Let's bring it back, like literally the name of this business, offline. I don't know if it's a business or a service or what, but I mean, they collect money, so I call it business. But yeah, bring it back offline and just do the thing of like forcing people to sit in front of each other, right? And I'm sure it's awkward at certain points. That's where, like you said, branding is important. But the other aspect that I think is important is that we've learned a lot from, say, watching reality TV, right? That you put a bunch of people together in a room, you give them certain strange rules that they have to follow and strange, like, you must do this by a certain time or that. Somehow it makes it easier, like it makes it more entertaining for everybody involved, makes it easier. You can call it like almost like escape room kind of experience, like meeting people is like escape room experience. So this one that you can't talk about work for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like, I think the recent reality show I watched was Love After Divorce, where the participants in this dating show exclusively made of divorced people cannot reveal their work or the reason for their divorce for like, I don't know, the first few episodes.
Oh.
So it's really about just personality, living together and all that. So still got sparks, but it's more interesting when they actually reveal that side of them. They're like, oh, I had no clue.
Oh.
So you put that in, maybe then it becomes a bit like a game, and that's why it's more fun. And it seems like these kids, they understand that aspect of it. And when I say these kids, I mean they're not kids,
these
so like 18 to 35. They're not that young either.
And I mean, like, another thing that makes this feel different is that it's focused on platonic friendships. Like even one of them said that who started this thing called Dinner with Strangers that started in January 2022 to get people to meet over meals. Apparently she tried speed dating first.
Yes.
But she said she didn't want to create events and bring people together only to end in disappointment. So now it is really focused on friendships. And I think that also matters a lot. Because if you go in with the intention that you're going to get, like, find someone or get laid, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure.
It is.
There's a lot of pressure. And this kind of thing where it's just for friends, I'm sure when they organize also, they want to maybe like gender mix, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think they ask for your sexuality or something, so it's hard to get a like equal ratio there. But a gender mix lah. And then if it happens lah.
Yeah. That's how much people miss the. There's no more like I think we talked about the idea of a third space in one of our podcasts.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
There are just fewer and fewer of that lah. I mean, when you think about this, I think an older person, in their 50s or 60s would be like, this is like going to a coffee shop and you just sit there, right? You meet people, you talk.
Or you go to a club,
Yeah. Or you go, you really want to do it, then you go party. You go to a party where you pay for drinks or everything.
Yeah.
But this one is really like, just sit down and talk to people.
Because, I mean, okay, so, when you were younger in your 20s and all, I'm sure you also went to dinners with friends where they brought other friends.
Yeah.
Right? And there's always a nice, especially if you're not dating anyone, there's always this feeling, wedding dinners. I remember for a certain period of time where I look forward to going to friends' weddings, dinners.
Okay.
Because I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not dating anyone now. Maybe I'll meet someone. Then as I got older and older, I kept getting more and more disappointed. Because there are less single people or maybe
dinners.
People in more stable relationships.
Yeah.
So it happened more than once. Like over a wedding dinner, I meet someone. I'm like, hey, click, click.
Yeah.
Then after that, when I ask for like number or something, they're like, oh, I got a boyfriend. And that fucking sucks.
So you're that guy at the wedding dinner that's going around looking for.
No. It all happened organically. It all happened organically. But I'm saying that when I look back and I remember meeting with friends, and when they bring other friends, I have ended up like going out with people that I meet through those sort of things.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is something trying to replicate that lah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to go in with like social meetings with an expectation.
Yeah,
You're there. that whoever you talk to is going to be interesting and to make friends.
Mm.
So if anything, I guess these groups, at least you know people are there to socialize. They're not going to just shut down and not talk to you or what, right? And sit in one corner. Because I've seen situations like that, where people like at social gatherings, like they're on their phone all the time, or they're not trying to even be part of a conversation and all.
Then you scold them.
No, I mean, I don't think it's in anybody's place to tell someone else how to behave at a social event. But it's a bit more self-selection here, right? People come to do it. And I think once it's out there and open, once you're honest that, I'm here to meet people, and so is the next person, so is the next person, then you're much less stressed. You can go and do it, right? But yeah, that was essentially life before smartphones and everything also, right?
That's why people older folk are maybe like, wow, this is ridiculous, man.
Stupid,
yeah. This is how it used to be. But I mean, that's the way it is, like. And like what you said about Zoom calls, right? I think anyone who maybe has Zoom calls and all, so many times you're talking to someone for the first time.
Yeah.
You have 30 minutes to establish some rapport, talk about your work, wrap up, and potentially never talk to them again.
Yeah.
So it becomes like, I think, that's the way of the game now. I can imagine some people not even wanting to have calls. Everything is a coffee chat, is a face-to-face.
Yeah.
Which also is not possible these days, right?
Yeah. So would you go to this if you were single and in the age range and everything?
I think I have. I mean, last time I also got a few ones. I went to this one event which I look back almost disappointed in myself. But that was because it was I went with a friend, and I won't deny that I went there to just looking for romance, rather than friends,
Okay.
And it was an event just for international people. But then my friend somehow heard that, so he's international, and then we snuck in,
Yeah.
So I remember going there, and I was like, we were talking, and it just felt very transactional, like a networking event. But we're like, you know what? Let's stay at a distance and just talk. Then one guy came over and he said, "Oh, you guys, you're Singaporean, right?" I was like, "I am lah." And you? He was like, "Yeah, I'm Singaporean." I was like, "Oh." He said, "Why are you here?" Then I was like, "I just to meet friends, And then he gave me this look, right? He's like, "Bro, I know why you're here, lah." And then he just gave a nod, and immediately I felt like, fuck, is that why I'm here? So then after that, we went our separate ways, and then I was with my friend and all, and we were talking, and I remember there was this attractive woman who walked past.
Yeah.
And I was, I smiled at her and all. Then just as she walked past, right, behind her was that guy. And he was looking straight at me.
Straight into your soul.
And he gave me a nod. And after that, right, I remember telling my friend, "Yo, man, we need to get the fuck out of here." Because I just felt like, oh my God, I'm one of those guys. I saw a reflection. And it totally, after that, I never went to another event like that. And that night, we went to have teh tarik.
I see.
So, but that one, I went in with the wrong intention.
Yeah.
I went in with the wrong intention.
Yeah.
And it was big as like a few hundred people. So it felt like a club that wasn't a club. But for this, I would totally go for it.
Yeah.
For you?
I think, I don't know. I still feel like I'd rather pay to do something, like do an activity, and then organically like somehow meet people along the way. Yeah. I just feel when you're just meeting people for the sake of it. I mean, I know I've been talking about it, like saying good things about it, right? But for me, is myself, I just find it hard. Like value wise, in terms of your time and what you're paying and all that, to not have something that you did out of the whole thing, lah. Yeah. So I'm a bit more old school that
like
way.
Meet at Sheng Siong or Giant or something.
Even then, yeah. Even then, like a book club or anything like that, lah. I still feel like meeting people for the sake of meeting people somehow also leads to a lot of disappointment, lah.
That's true.
Whereas if
that's true,
you did something side by side, even if you didn't really enjoy the company, at least you've got a story that you got something out of it, lah, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you put all your eggs into, I'm here because I want to meet interesting people, somehow that sounds to me like the path to disappointment.
It feels like work like that.
Now, work, I think you can, if I work, I can say that there's a very clear thing you want to get out of it. But it's one thing to meet people, to somehow become good friends and like find your life partners and everything. I feel like you're setting yourself up for disappointment, lah. Yeah,
I guess maybe you never went through online dating.
I never went through online dating. Yeah, that's
Once
true.
you go through online dating, right, your nerves and emotions get desensitized.
And you throw all that out the window.
Yeah,
right?
and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, just, and the fact is, the reality is, I met my wife through a dating app.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, it I mean, it worked out great. And yeah, I think it's one of those things that I'm more open to, but getting into the whole dating apps thing also was like a leap of faith for me. And also, I think we are speaking as Singaporeans.
Yeah.
Who grew up here.
Yeah.
I can imagine for people coming here, maybe you are spending a few years here, where your social circle, let's say you came through COVID, and your social circle was very limited.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't know, like it might be something for them is a big help.
Maybe. And a little bit of, I guess everyone's different also. Some people do better in big groups of people. Some people don't. And I mean, I'm not one of those that does very well in very big groups of people. Just even down to things like how audible is your voice in a room when everyone's talking, right? Mine goes at a very low frequency. So actually, I find it very hard to enunciate clearly when there's a whole room of people chattering and all that. Do you find that? Do you have an issue with that?
I've always thought I've had an issue with that. That's why, like...
But your voice so high-pitched and everything.
I don't know, man. It just like that's why I fucking hated going to clubs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I cannot hear myself. I cannot talk. Whereas some people's voice, it travels, you know.
Yeah.
I've never had we've never exchanged whispers in the club, so I don't know how your voice travels.
Yeah. Not well. Yeah.
Not well.
Bass frequency is a bit harder.
Bass frequency. I've felt that before. Maybe if it's I don't know. Would you say like my voice?
No, I think your voice is. The intonations, everything is definitely the range higher than mine, for example.
Yeah, correct.
So easier to speak in bigger groups.
Yeah.
Mine is, I find it, it's tiring to keep that up. To try and up, down. A lot more because I starting from a very low base, you see. So literally those are the kinds of things that made me realize that, okay, maybe big groups is not really my forte either. You know, I mean, I think maybe... For me, sweet spot is like 5-6 people max. Beyond that, I'm like kind of like lost already. Yeah.
I see. But if you go for these kind of things where it's like a long table, your vicinity is still 5 or 6 people. So as long as it's contained.
Yeah, but I find that hard also because then if you want to talk to someone else on the opposite side of the table who's like maybe diagonally opposite, it's kind of like, you're sort of stuck there, right? I would still say if you're like able to stand and freely roam around, at least it's a bit easier, right? Yeah.
So I guess if anyone listens and they come up to you, you know, in the grocery saying, "Hey, Terrence, I love the podcast," you're like, "Oh my god, yes!" You know, then you know Terrence really putting in a ton of effort.
If you hear my voice going up like that, you know something's wrong.
You know Terrence is putting in effort. That's not me.
But yes.
Well, interesting. I mean, it's because you've also heard, I don't know whether it's true or not, like, you know, alcohol consumption generally going down amongst younger crowds. I don't know about visitation to clubs, you know, whether that's going down. It just feels like there's more ways for social interaction now, which is, I guess, is good.
It's a good thing, yeah.
It's a good thing, man.
More options, yeah.
It is a good thing.
But yes, speaking of options, like what are your choices for one Shiok comment?
My one Shiok comment, I believe, was on the last episode. Let me pull it up. Yeah, it was by... Where is it? Shit. Okay, you want to go first? I need to just find it.
Sure. I mean, the last podcast where we talked about the symbols of the Israel-Hamas war band, I think it was before Deepavali. And I think we were talking about what's Diwali versus Deepavali. And I think Muhammad Sharif 4291 basically just explained to us I think Diwali is used mostly by North Indians and Deepavali is used by South Indians. Right? So I think that's a very succinct explanation for something that Harish couldn't give us just now.
Yeah, on that note, I also saw that comment. I thought for this, given like, you know, I celebrated Deepavali, I should give more context.
Yes.
So basically, Diwali, I mean, people have also asked me like, is it a festival of lights? Is it religious? And you, like, there was a question of Diwali versus Deepavali. It's true that Diwali and Deepavali are used in North and South respectively. But basically the word Diwali is derived from the Sanskrit word Deepavali.
Okay.
And Deepa means light or lamp, whereas the word Avali means a series or row. So there is that sort of like context of the term. And Diwali is apparently it's like last 5 or 6 days, and it represents different things to different Indian dialect groups and faiths lah.
Okay.
So, for example, even the Jains, they observe their own Diwali, which is about the liberation of Mahavira. The Sikhs celebrate Diwali to mark the release of Guru Hargobind from a Mughal prison.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's quite all-encompassing. In general, it is to symbolize the victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. Yeah, so there's a bit more context.
Nice. Wow, that was a lecture right there.
Yeah,
by Dr. Tilani.
Yeah, because I realized there was a few comments differentiating it, and I was like, fuck, I'm useless.
You gotta set the record straight.
Yeah, to set the record straight.
Yeah.
So that was your one show comment.
One show comment, yes.
My one show comment, I think, was from the previous one. Okay, let's see. Damn it.
Still haven't put it up.
Fuck, where is it? Shit. Wait, Okay, do you have anything to talk more about? Like, where the hell was it?
Is it on Reddit or what? Like, why is it like disappearing?
I don't know. Like, I saw it just now, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be my one show comment.
Okay, do you have the gist of it now?
Yeah. So someone just talked about like just realizing that, and they even said, I'm not so sure what it is about you guys, but I really have grown to like your podcast, and I appreciate what you guys do. And I think what they also said was something about how I think it was their first comment in a long time, and they said that, you know, hopefully one day they would be kind of like singled out as their one show comment of the week. And now I can't fucking find it to even give them a shout out.
I do remember that comment, but yeah. Shout out to that person who made that comment.
Shout out to that person who made that comment.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. And hopefully you still accept this, then you're my one show comment for the week.
It's from the Sandian.
The Sandian.
The Sandian, yeah.
Yes.
The Sandian, I think. Yes.
And they also asked Google Bard to write a joke about us after we spoke about asking ChatGPT to write a joke. And the joke is, why did Harish and Terrence start a podcast? So they could finally say Yalla Bad without being interrupted. And that they think it quite describes the essence of our podcast. I mean, it's not the best joke.
Any podcast could yeah.
Yeah. But they said, so thanks for that, man. So that was my one show comment.
All right. And your one show thing?
My one show thing was that so Gary Neville, you know, a Man U legend. Okay, this is about football. So before anyone listening glazes over. So generally there's this football legend of Manchester United, Gary Neville, who was recently in Singapore. He was at Changi Airport, and there was a Singaporean guy who took a photo with him. But when he posted it on X, he tagged Jamie Carragher.
Yeah.
And said, you know, just met Cara, 23, at Changi Airport, Singapore. So the context is, ever since Gary Neville, you know, left Man U years ago and Jamie Carragher left Liverpool, they are now pretty popular pundits online. And they are hilarious. I love the banter between them. So why I love this, right, is because this guy posted it on X. Jamie Carragher replied, so basically taking a dig at Gary Neville, right?
Yeah.
And what I love about it is that, you know, like in the past also, Singapore always appears in the news for like, you know, fine or some punishment or something. This one, like, we are getting involved in like pop culture from the UK.
Yeah.
And, you know, being part of the joke. And I love that.
So you love that people in the UK give a shit about people in Singapore and their jokes.
I mean, no, Terrence, you're totally misrepresenting my point.
Like it is calling out the neo-colonialists.
Not about the UK loving our jokes or something. The fact that we actually had someone get involved in it, I was like, wow, that is awesome. So that was my one Shiok thing.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, he bumped into Gary Neville at Changi Airport.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
My one Shiok Thing is just a movie that I saw recently on HBO. It's not a recent movie, it's from 2019. It's called Bad Education, starring Hugh Jackman and Alison Janney, amongst other things. About the story of true story of a couple of school administrators who got run into some criminal activity in the schools. So yeah, it's I think essentially there was a lot of embezzlement of funds and things like that. But yeah, they made a movie about it, and actually it was a really awesome movie. Like just from the way they told the story. I mean, given that Hugh Jackman's such a big star, you would expect like he's the focal point of the story, which he is. But how they told it, I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, a lot of twists and turns.
But what made you want to watch that?
Just wanted to watch something that wasn't big blockbuster, but wasn't a scary movie and all that. And all. Then just this came on my radar on HBO, and yeah, it was like 2019 Hugh Jackman, but I had never heard of it before then. And so, but it's actually a good movie. Yeah.
Escape from all the Diwali celebrations.
Not escape. I was deep in the Diwali celebrations. This was. I didn't.
You put the deep in Deepavali.
Yeah. Deep. So yeah, this was part of the Diwali celebrations.
Okay. Bad Education. And it's on what network?
I think HBO. I believe it was HBO. Yeah.
Oh, Hugh Grant still. So he's like.
No, not Hugh Grant. Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman. Okay. So it's a recent movie, like.
2019.
Oh, okay lah. Not that old.
Not that long ago. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Surprising.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
So until the next episode, hopefully Harish has a fun trip and all.
Yeah.
But there might still be an episode somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between. Yes.
Cool.
All right. And remember, just if you enjoyed this podcast, it'd be great if you could share it with one other person. Follow us on our socials. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, turn on notifications and whatnot. If you want to work with us, email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.